If you actually got to witness the women's 100 at the Prefontaine Classic, you should know that I can sum the entire race up with one name. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Because she didn't just get the victory, she did it on a stage, and with a field where this one actually matters. She had been tearing it up at Grand Slam track, but coming to the Prefontaine Classic with the Olympic podium, as well as some of the women who were in the final. Like, you really didn't get on this field if you weren't in an Olympic final in the 100 or the 200. I think like maybe one name isn't on that list. Yeah, this is a big deal. She ran 10.75 seconds, but that is the end of a very interesting story. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. On the starting line, you had Julien Alfred, the reigning Olympic champion, and Sha'Carri Richardson, who was the reigning world champion. You already know that Melissa Jefferson-Wooden got the victory. I'm going to tell you that part right now. But there are 3 different narratives coming out of this race. So let's get into all of them. Julien Alfred ran a great race. That's just what happened. It is what it is. When the race was over, she ran 10.77 seconds into a negative 1.5 headwind. So if you had told me that was going to be the end result on that day, I would have assumed, I wouldn't have thought about it, I would have just assumed that Julien Alfred was the victor and that the race never really was that close between her and the rest of the field. Again, no shade, just being honest. So she went and did that, and then Melissa Jefferson-Wooden went out there and beat her. And this was a race to the line. They both got away from the field. They both ran fast. There was points where, if you're really looking at it, it looked like both of them were leading at some point. And getting to the line, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden wanted it just a little bit more to go 10.75 seconds. She was already the world leader, and Julien Alfred was right behind her. And people kind of thought oh, nobody was really in the field. Who did she really beat? The thing is, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden is a bronze medalist in the 100. That's what she is. And people don't really count bronze the way they look at gold. But yeah, there's only 2 women in the world who really can say they're better than her right now. At least think it. Think it with some level of confidence. So when we're putting her in fields at Grand Slam track and everywhere else, she starts running away from everybody. It was only a shocker, only a surprise, because we never fully digested what was actually happening. She is that woman. When it comes to America, if Sha'Carri Richardson's not in front over the last 4 years, from 2021 till now, in a 100, if we're talking a USA championship, yeah, if it ain't Sha'Carri, it's going to be Melissa. That is the history. There's only 2 who have actually won the USAs from that moment up until now, and I don't see that changing. But now we get to the Sha'Carri Richardson situation. Because yes, it is officially a situation. I get it. I understand that she's recovering from injury. And that really messed up or, shortchanged her season up until now. She ran 1 race in Tokyo and did not look good when she did it. But in that race, she finished 4th. Here at the Prefontaine Classic, which is a long time away from that race, Sha'Carri Richardson did not run well. And to say that is putting it mildly. She actually finished, when it was all over, she finished in last place. She ran 11.19 seconds. Again, they were running into a minus headwind. But to be honest, the gun goes off. She falls to the back of the pack, she's in the bottom 3 and just kind of runs there for the remainder of the race. There was no move. There was no surge. And it just is what it is. We know what Sha'Carri Richardson is capable of. I've said it on the Finish Line podcast. I'm going to say it again. Sha'Carri Richardson's report is basically this is how it goes. Since she has turned pro, she shows up and just runs faster than everybody. That's what she does. There really was no, climb to it. She just was good. And for that matter, she was just great. She was better. And she just has to stay better. That's all she has to do. There are moments when she comes back to the field. And normally when that happens, she comes all the way back. She runs pedestrian times. 2022 it happened at the back of 2024. But when she's up there, almost nobody in the world can run with her, which is why we expect her to be up there. But her report doesn't say that she stays there all the time. I assumed at the Prefontaine she was going to have something that would be certainly a more competitive race than this. But hey, it is what it is. So, she still has a bye to the Worlds. She's going to be there on the starting line in the 100-meter dash. She's, as far as I understand, potentially going to run the 200 at the USA Championships to try to qualify. And there's still weeks between now and then. But it's only 3.5 to 4 weeks now. So when it comes to the USAs at least, if you're going to run fast, we're expecting you to look like something. Which brings us all the way back to Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. But she is certainly not just looking like something. She's looking like a favorite to win the gold medal. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Interestingly enough, when you face off with a mainline competitor before a championship race, because the Prefontaine Classic is not a championship race, but as far as the pro circuit is concerned, this is clearly one of the bigger deals that we have, certainly in America, but for that matter, probably in the rest of the world, like when people are paying attention. When you face off, like Julien and Alfred versus Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, because they were in the Olympic final, and here we are now. The way I see it, things can go one of two ways. The first is that whoever wins early is going to have a mental edge on everybody else. Or in this case, whoever the rivalry is between. Because let's be honest, if you're watching that race, it's abundantly clear. The only thing we're expecting to happen between now and the World Championships, health assumed for every athlete in the field. You've got Julien Alfred and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden at the top. That's who's there. Sha'Carri Richardson might come back and be herself. Sharika Jackson might come back and show us, top gear form. But using the races we have to go off of, and last year as evidence, those are the two women at this point who you're looking at when you're fighting for the top of the podium. That's it. It's just them. The only other folk are the ones who are going to have to, show us form we've seen in the past. We just don't have any recent evidence they're going to do it. That's Sha'Carri, that's Sharika Jackson, and even to a lesser degree, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price at this point in her career. On the other end, when you win versus lose, I also think that depending on who you are and what type of mental fortitude you have, that if you lose early, it can give you an extra edge later on, because it's really hard to beat somebody twice, specifically if that person is a killer. And yes, Julien Alfred is a killer. Allow me to explain. When you win the Olympic gold medal, the way that she did, where she goes out there and destroys a semifinal against the woman who everybody knew was the favorite, the reigning world champion, Sha'Carri Richardson, and then does it again in the final. Remember, the final wasn't close. She just wins, and she won big. You are a killer. Julien Alfred's report, since she has turned pro, has essentially been, similar to Sha'Carri, hey, I just show up and I'm great. I run at this level that no one else can run at. But the thing is, we have not seen a dip yet. She's just been up there. From her NCAA performances at the back half of that part of her career to the moment she showed up at Worlds, immediately thereafter, then 2024 Olympics. I don't have to fill you in. You know what happened. And then you move on beyond that to now what we're getting this year on the circuit. Julien Alfred is not just a winner, not just fast. She is a killer. You can't give a killer multiple times to get you. And that's why Melissa Jefferson-Wooden's victory under those conditions is a big deal. Julien Alfred ran a great race. The type of race that under every estimation, if you just knew the results about what Julien Alfred was going to do, you would likely assume, if you know a whole lot about sprinting, that she was going to win that race. 10:77 into a minus 1.5 at the Prefontaine Classic of all places. Yeah, you got that. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden getting the victory needs to be taken, not just as a warning shot, because we discussed on the Finish Line podcast whether or not her threat level was at the high, that's what we called it. We called it threat level. We didn't know she was going to win. Again, we're talking about Worlds here, not just Prefontaine. But her threat level was high. But the threat level is not the same thing as actually being attacked. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden is on the attack. She has been on the attack ever since she stepped to the track this year. That is why she is undefeated in the 100-meter dash. And it didn't really matter who they put on the line. Because at first, we felt, and by we I mean myself, okay, I'll speak for me. Maybe not you, but I'm going to speak for me. I felt that when she showed up to Grand Slam track Kingston, that, hey, it is what it is. The field maybe wasn't the best field, but she got the victory and that kind of makes sense. Then she goes to Miami, and I was like, she could win, but then again, she might not. And she runs incredibly fast to make sure that she wins. That's what she did. It was wind assisted, but she ran incredibly fast. Then she goes to Philadelphia, where we're basically running it back. And I'm like, all right, well, She might do it again, then maybe again she might not. But we're just talking about the victory, because that time it wasn't wind legal in the 100. And she goes even faster. 10.73, the new world lead. And again, now that puts you in rare territory. Very few women on the world stage, like very few of them, can actually go that fast. Some of the names I already gave you. Now she's at the Prefontaine Classic, weeks later, showing up with the Olympic podium. For that matter, almost everybody who was in the final, or at least who we project to be in the final, all of them are there. And she wins. And she doesn't just win. She wins when Julien and Alfred, the reigning Olympic gold medalist, balled out as far as I can tell. And still wins. You gotta give it to her now. You can say what you want, but it doesn't really matter who you think you are or what you think you're doing. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden is a real one. She isn't just a contender to win the gold at the World Championships anymore. If you're asking me, she is the favorite. I mean, you can pick Julien and Alfred if you want to, and hey, you can call them 1A and 1B. I mean, I'm not counting out Sha'Carri just yet, but I'm expecting something to change real fast. Because it's going to have to if we're really going to expect her to be on that top line. But the idea that somebody else in the world is going to take her out, good luck with that one. Because you don't run that fast, that many times, and take care of business no matter who they put on the line, if you don't know that you have it now. So with the health of all the athletes assumed for the moment, you can take your pick on who you think will win the world in the 100 this year. But as far as I can tell, it's Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, or for that matter, Julien and Alfred, I'll give you that, or the field. And that's that. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.